fucking up on purpose. I'm being serious. If you're scared of other people's opinion, fuck up on purpose. Then everybody thinks you suck shit. Then it's all upside.
Okay, now there's sound. I always forget to unmute my mic. It's so dumb. I've done it so many times. Silly me. Okay, here we are. Okay, where to begin? There's really a lot to get through. So I want to start with, I guess I want to start with the macro. Okay. Good morning, good evening, good night. Welcome everyone back. This is the daily download on the Jeremy Knows podcast. And we have quite a few updates for VeeFriends. A lot of Gary V talking about the project, both in the Discord, also in the Twitter Spaces for Artificial. And there's also a lot of macro news that I'm going to mention. We've got Facebook rebranding, Shiba millionaires coming out of the woodwork, as well as ETH at an all-time high and much more. So strap in your seatbelts, get comfortable with your coffee, walk your dog, whatever the case may be. There's a lot to go through. I'll try to keep it brief and to the point. Let's get into it. Just before I kick off with the news, I need to just give a humble thank you to anybody who's listening to this podcast. If you follow the page, you know that in the last 24 hours, I made a video trying to appeal my Sorcerer scholarship application to Gary V. I asked Instagram and Twitter to push that video, and you guys really, really delivered. I'm super humbled, super grateful that you did. And Gary V replied today, and what he said was the following. He said, where is it? He said, JH, I have a lot of love for you. We put in a process to pick the 5 Sorcerer tokens. I can't deviate from that. I'm sorry. Which, mad respect. Like, I saw it as soon as it came in. I said, respect. I had to shoot my shot. Thank you for checking it out. At the very least, this confirms that Gary V knows my last name, which is very cool. Feels like a big win. I've got a lot of people messaging me like, are you okay? I'm absolutely okay. I put no stake in this changing my outcome. It was just, I had to give it one more shot before the decisions were cast. So, you know, my humble gratitude to everybody who shared it, and mad respect and gratitude to Gary V and everybody on the team. If you're in the Sorcerer running, I'll just shift into that update. The latest on the Sorcerer is that they wanted to put out a next round of advancements and declines by the weekend, which is essentially now. So with a lot of preparation, I imagine, for NFT NYC and the like. We don't know when that email will come out. But either way, there's about 20 people who are in the running still. The decision will come eventually. Patient Panda and all the rest. I can't wait to cheer you on, whether you win or lose. Because if there's one thing we can take away from all of this, it's that the moment of self-awareness, like the reflection and review of where you're at and where you want to go, is such a truly powerful exercise. And those who I've spoken with that are in the second round or otherwise feel very grateful. And I hope that if you're one of those applicants, you do too. It's sort of like, what's that saying? Like, you only lose if you don't learn. I feel like that's a big part of the situation. I hope you feel that way. All right. Yeah, just had to say thank you for all of that. All right, into the news. I got something in my throat. Labeling things. Trying to stay organized. Okay, so a little bit about VCon. Gary V is looking for VCon speakers, whether that is a you think you're of merit. I've stumbled too much. VCon. Gary V is looking for speakers for VCon, and he wants to hear from you. Go to his Twitter, and you will see he just posted asking what are the top 10 that you'd like to see at vcon.co next year. And he has also tagged Zach Nadler, who is booking speakers for the event. You can also nominate yourself for the event. There's a Google form on Gary's Twitter. If you think you're of merit, you're NFT centric, you have something of value to offer, feel free to do that. But for most people, go ahead and tell Gary V who it is you want to see, because the team is making those decisions now. Also in the VCon realm, Gary spent a lot of time in the Discord tonight as he was on his way home to New York City from London, and he called VCon small potatoes, which is something that those of us who have been around, we know that VCon is this added value. It's sort of a carrot on the stick to like give people a tangible thing while they don't realize what's actually happening, what's really being built, the Disney of VFriends, as it were. He reiterated today in the Discord that there will be a physical theme park before he dies. That is the height of intellectual property build, or that scale rather, because it can go higher than that. But that's the scale that Gary V is looking at in building these characters. A little bit of empty space. Okay. Delete this. Say thank you. Thank you. I always forget things. I talked about that. I said this. Okay. So yesterday, Gary V hosted a Twitter Spaces with the team from Artificial, both Vito Schnabel and Gus Van Sant, who had his art on auction. He's created a piece called The Mona Lisa. It's right here. So Gus Van Sant created gold Mona Lisa in different colors. It's a painting of his. He's got a wide-ranging career as a filmmaker, painter, photographer, and musician. And a couple things to take away from this Twitter Spaces. Number one, Artificial is a micro platform. That's how Gary referred to it. And he anticipates that a lot of others will sort of follow this model, where Artificial's goal is essentially to work with established real physical artists and bring them into the NFT space. He's facilitating the process of their rookie card, their first NFT ever. That auction ended today at 12 noon Eastern time, but there are more on the edge. The About Us page says that Artificial is a cutting-edge online platform created to exhibit and sell original artworks by leading and emerging artists exploring new mediums, including digital artwork and NFTs. So if you're a collector, certainly worthwhile to check out Artificial and the things that they have coming. There was also a bit of alpha that Gary dropped at the end of the Twitter space that people were interested. So I'll give you a quick recap. In the last few minutes, Gary called out Roger47, who replied, Gary in the Discord said, Artificial will be big. Roger47 said, no, it won't. And he called him out in the Twitter space to say, Roger47, I just want you to know I've screenshotted your reply, and I look forward in 7 years to to pulling it up so that I can shove it directly in your mouth, as Gary is wont to do. He said not holding a VFriend will be a regret. He will make it his life's mission to make sure that people who didn't get VFriends when they had the chance now will regret it for the rest of their life. But to like the real applicable alpha, it's this fact that supply is exponentially outpacing demand. And he wanted his community to be thoughtful in this moment. There will be people who lose, and carnage is on the way. At the end of the day, you know, there's a lot of talk in NFT projects about the community being such an important factor in a project's success. You know, look at Fame Lady Squad, for example. That project had the rug pulled out from it, but the community was so passionate about the artwork and the community that they had built that leaders were able to rise and resurrect that project, and now it's doing well. However, if NFT Ignition and Data Lady and Board Becky cannot maintain a story, a narrative, and a brand for Fame Lady Squad, just like so many projects that are going to be judged by the market, they will fail. He wanted to drive the point home that while community matters, creators and owners of projects and their ability to build brand and tell story is what will make the difference. That is why Gary Vaynerchuk will make VFriends a #1 NFT project in the long term. He spoke a bit about wanting to bet on jockeys that already had established track records, that records that you could point to, provable that they would be able to sustain an IP over time, and that the idea of the community sustaining a project is skewed in this moment because what is happening now is the bandwagon effect is in full power. He made a comparison to the Chicago Bulls, and when Michael Jordan was on the team, so many people in his school were Bulls fans. But as soon as Michael Jordan left, you know, those people today, they're not Bulls fans. And so it's to be seen how many people are really into these projects because they believe in the creator, they love the art or what have you, or they're following the money, they're motivated by their financial stake in these projects and just wanted to really drive home to us, you know, his OG community, the people that he wants to win, to be thoughtful about what projects you're buying, the jockeys that are actually behind them, and evaluating their ability to drive value to their community by building story and brand. There's the alpha from Gary B yesterday. La, la, la. Okay. That was a nice big chunk. Okay. Hey, Schmooper girl. While we're talking about the upcoming carnage that will inevitably happen with supply outpacing demand, let's talk about some fun macro news events that happened in the last day or so. So, #1, Shiba, the dog meme coin, which followed the creation of Dogecoin earlier this year, went on an absolute parabolic run. And the figures for this are absolutely mind-boggling. Had you invested $1,000 in Shiba a year ago, it would be worth millions of dollars today. And I guess I don't need to wax philosophical on whether or not this is an investment or not, but it sort of is the same conversation as the long tail of these different NFT projects. Shiba is talking about a burn mechanism that they're trying to implement, but at the end of the day, like utility and the leaders of those projects driving value to those holders is going to determine the difference. For the moment, these memes are more of a gamble than an investment. And I just want to say that because not every single shitcoin that you see is eventually going to have these parabolic moves. There are a lot more that don't make it than do. At the same time, ETH has hit an all-time high. The price of Ethereum at the time of this recording is $4,384 US, with the top, the new all-time high being about 44,060. Really incredible run from Ethereum, looking relatively healthy as an uptrend. And part of the consequence of this is gas prices have been unceasingly high. We're talking 150, 200 gwei as a new standard. Now, that's not going to last forever, we hope, but it's certainly affecting the NFT market, and a lot less is moving because of those high gas prices. Next up, Twitter has rolled out Twitter Spaces for all users. So those who were trying to meet the algorithmic requirements of 600 followers and all the rest, that's no longer necessary. Everyone should have the ability to start their own Twitter Space right now, which is fantastic. It's going to drive a lot more communities and smaller niche communities to have their own spaces on Spaces. That's exciting. If you don't know how to use Twitter Spaces, when you're on your main feed, you can press and hold the tweet button, and you should see a little purplish icon with the Twitter Spaces icon and be able to open your own Twitter Space. Twitter Space, if you're unfamiliar, is essentially a Clubhouse deployment, an audio interface within Twitter. Has a lot of features that are great for engaging the community, emoji reactions. You can pin tweets up to the top. Very popular in the NFT space. If you're on Twitter and you're in the NFT community, at just about any time of day, you can see half a dozen or more Twitter Spaces. You know, there's a lot of notable shows. If you haven't interacted with Twitter Spaces yet and you're in this NFT space, it's an absolutely top tier way to get educated, find alpha, and build relationships, which is no doubt the most valuable part of this experience. Yes, I said it. Building relationships is the most valuable part of being this early in NFTs. I've said it before, I'll say it again. It's more likely your relationships that you build now will last longer than most of the projects you are buying. I look forward to be proven right or wrong in that regard. Big news. Facebook, the media giant Facebook, which owns Instagram, which tried to buy Snapchat, has rebranded to Meta. And they've done this as they have made public their intention to shift into a virtual reality focused company. So now Meta is the holding company that owns Facebook and all of the other subsidiaries, WhatsApp, Instagram, and the like. There was a lot of conversation about this choice, a lot of memeing and trolling of Mark Zuckerberg in the space. And whatever you think of this decision, the name choice, or even like a large corporate giant coming in and trying to perhaps dominate the future metaverse, this is extremely bullish for cryptocurrencies and NFTs in particular. And the simple reason why is that most people had not had any exposure to the idea of a metaverse until this announcement. And they will not only drive a lot of awareness to the potentials of the metaverse and these new technologies, but they'll also drive a lot of actual financial investment into developers, artists, creators, and all sorts of people in this space. So everything has two sides. There's certainly cons with an entity like Facebook getting in the game in this way. And, I heard a lot of criticism like they're not actually building a metaverse, they're building a gameverse. And all of that conversation is really healthy. I encourage you to participate in it. But nonetheless, Facebook rebranding as Meta is super bullish for the space. And last but not least, this was a shocking announcement. If you follow the CryptoPunk bot on Twitter, there was an announcement, and let me get the actual number for you because it will shock you. The previous all-time high CryptoPunk sale was 4,200 Ethereum, okay? But yesterday, there was a purchase, or at least it looked like one, of a CryptoPunk, which was not quite rare, not quite special. And that CryptoPunk sold for 124,457 ETH, which at the time was valued at $532 million, over $500 million for this CryptoPunk. So that was absolutely shocking for the CryptoPunk spot to release, but there's more to the story. And it's a great learning moment. I highly encourage you to go to Twitter and search flash loans and see what people have been saying about flash loans. Basically, what happened in this transaction is the owner of this CryptoPunk sent it to another wallet, wallet B. Then wallet B, I'm getting this wrong now. Wallet A sends it to wallet B, and what a flash loan is wallet C, which bought the CryptoPunk, loaned the amount of 124,000 Ethereum from several different places, purchased the CryptoPunk from wallet B, and then immediately within the same block transaction, that money was sent back to wallet C, and C paid back the loan. Then wallet C sent the token, the CryptoPunk, back to wallet A. So in essence, this was just a very expensive joke. This is not a real sale. Larva Labs has come out to confirm that it was a flash loan, but in the blockchain record, this punk is now the most expensive punk ever purchased. It is the #1 top sale. And, you know, it's possible that within this decade, we will start to see CryptoPunks going at this price, but this is more of an expensive PR stunt. You know, they had to pay fees for the flash loan, fees for all of the transfers at these high gas costs that we mentioned, as well as realizing those gains on the CryptoPunk that they had previously purchased for, I think, 115 ETH. So very elaborate and very expensive PR stunt, but it definitely caused waves yesterday. Something you need to know about. Highly encourage you to look up flash loans and just get an idea of the power of smart contracts. All of this happened because the wallet B was holding a CryptoPunk in a smart contract ready to execute this flash loan. So super, super interesting. This was artificial. I'm going to check comments really quick. Let me check Twitch. Cool. Can't wait to join the Meta V House. Place is going to be sick. Yeah, that'll be cool. I saw a question here. Thank you. So you think 20 people made it to the second, or they've got it down to 20 now? So Jason, I think it's down. We don't know for sure, but I think more than 20 people made it to the second round, and they've been whittling it down. And Gary said he thinks it's down to 19. I just said 20 because he may be off by a bit. You guys, my headphone just died, and sometimes when that happens, I lose sound. Can I get an emoji on Instagram if you can still hear me? That would be very nice. Thanks for hanging out, Window Tinter. And Chaotic Mango's in the house. Good to see you. Okay. Moving forward, this was big macro news. Okay, good. People still have sound. I see a V House where we all sit in one room and Gary does a live Q&A. Wow, that would be amazing. Okay, so I talked about all this. Gifts are on track. Talked about this. Okay. And
I recommend fucking up on purpose. I'm being serious.
I need to go to Sasha Vayner.
I recommend fucking up on purpose. I'm being serious.
Does it restart the video every time I go back?
I recommend
okay,
fucking.
Great. Good to know. Okay, we're going to dive into the VFriends news and then a few offshoot things that I want to address. Number one, Gary mentioned on Twitter not long ago that December was going to be big for Just Art, December 2021. And we've sort of been wondering what that's about. But somebody pointed out to me that December 2021 is also when the Art Basel show is happening in Miami. And they're incorporating more NFT into their presentation. So it's very possible that Gary may have some kind of VFriends installation or PR stunt moment involved at Art Basel. That's in Miami in December. So for those of you who are traveling around who would like to attend that. There's Gary also told us today in the Discord that there's rumblings of a book delay. So if you've been following the 12.5 book NFT saga, the promo period is over. Now we're waiting for the book to release on November 16th. But they're dealing with massive global logistics and supply chain. And some rumblings have come to Gary that the book may be delayed. He just gave us a warning in case it does. He thinks he'll have more of an update on Monday. But just FYI, putting that out there. The NFT airdrop. So for every 12 books you purchase, you will get a one gift NFT. And those are still on time, starting December 15th through the end of the year to December 31st. He said, in addition to that, that there's something big brewing for the book NFT. We still don't know really what's coming with the book NFT. We've been told by Gary that there will be decisions to make. We know the supply is going to be over 100,000, and we know that everybody got them for about $360. But we don't know. We know there will be rarities. We don't know how many. We know there will be different characters. We don't know how many. So time will tell in that regard. But it looks like he's creating some kind of partnerships or otherwise brand deals to pair with the book NFT. When Gary says something big is brewing, it usually means that he's used his network and deployed his resources to drive added value beyond what he already knew he could execute. So that's very exciting. Next up, a little more word on VFriends 2, still Q1 2022, still $1,000 in ETH. And there was a question of, is that $1,000 in ETH today or $1,000 of ETH in Q1? And again, some of this is still to be announced. We don't know what it will be. We know that it will be nostalgic in some way, but Gary reiterated today that he's committed to $1,000 in ETH. So if ETH runs up to 10,000 by the time VFriends 2 launches, then it will be, sorry, did I say 1,000? If ETH runs up to 10,000, then $1,000 in ETH will be 0.1 ETH, and that's what it'll be per token. We don't know. I suppose today $1,000 in ETH is less than 0.25. So we don't know yet if you hold a VFriends 1, if you'll get automatically whitelisted, if you'll get a free mint, if you can burn book NFTs to get a mint pass for V2. Anything you hear in that regard is speculation, and I will remind you that there is a fake mint pass going around OpenSea. Please be very careful not to buy anything that is not officially linked within the VFriends Discord. Speaking of the VFriends Discord, we are wrapping up the pumpkin carving contest. There's just 3 hours left to get in your submission. So if you've been waiting for a kick in the ass, go buy a pumpkin, get a knife, go have some fun. There's some amazing, amazing submissions in the contest channel, which is where you will submit your image. And if you're not planning to participate, I highly recommend that you just go and enjoy the artwork because it's super impressive. I think after tomorrow at noon, the team will select 5 options for the community to decide from. And I think once they do that, I'll not only shout out those 5 selected finalists, but also go through and just give a shout out to people that I thought personally were great. Alert Ape got another shout out, one sold for 12 ETH. And Gary, somebody asked, what does this mean, Gary? And Gary said it means that Feb characters will get developed. And I don't know what this means. I don't know if Feb is short for February or if it's a typo. Like I looked at it and I thought, does this mean big characters or does it mean February? I don't know. So if you saw that and you're wondering, I'm unsure as well. So let's dive back into VFriends 1 because Gary was very bullish on it this evening and was saying that it's laughable how underrated it is. On top of that, people are underestimating what he's actually building. As I mentioned before, VCon is small potatoes. He said that he is going to add utility after VCon, period. He is constantly going to be driving value back to V1. And he said specifically not other VFriend tokens. He said, utility adds until I die for V1. He went further and talked about specs. Someone asked, do specs get something special or are they just one of one? He said both and went on to say that he will make them the creme de la creme of the collection and constantly provide even more utility and value to that rarity of tokens. So if you wanted bullish news on spectaculars, there you have it. One more thing in the VFriend space, and I actually really love this. So maybe I'm making a bigger deal about this than it is, but you know, VFriends is constantly making minor creative choices. They're showing us characters within the comics and they're using them for Twitter takeovers, and they're slowly building the idea of these characters without a full IP rollout. You know, don't forget that Gary mentioned Halloween characters were going to get a bump, but we haven't seen the VFriends team or Gary do anything to highlight those characters in a particular way. And we also haven't seen that bump in the market. So I'm not sure if it's a Halloween day surprise that we're going to be getting on Sunday or something else. But VFriends also has a TikTok, and they posted a TikTok of Gary B this week with Gary V's voice. I'm going to play it for you now.
I recommend fucking up on purpose. I'm being serious. If you're scared of other people's opinion, fuck up on purpose. Then everybody thinks you suck shit. Then it's all upside.
So we've heard that from Gary V before, and there's a little animation of Gary B flying around. You know, maybe this is the character that we finally get Gary V's stand-up comedy from. But I think it's really notable. Like, we can obviously make the connection of Gary V and Gary B, but they actually gave it to us now. You know, we don't have to make the assumption or the leap of logic that this is the avatar for Gary. They've actually given Gary B Gary V's voice. And considering that there are other characters like Little V that could be surrogates for Gary V in whatever animated cartoon book world that we get for VFriends, I feel like this is a very significant creative choice. I'm interested to see how much they stick to it. And is this kind of like a Mickey Mouse play? Like, this is the surrogate for, you know, the I don't know, the main avatar for the creator is very, very interesting to me. Okay. One more thing on Gary V, sort of side note. But the TikTok immutable auction is still on. This is a NFT collaboration between Jess the Mess on TikTok and Gary V called Rent Free. It's a stitch of their TikTok and a really high quality 3D animation of Times Square. The current bid is for 2 ETH. It ends in just under 3 days, and you can find that on tiktok.immutable.com. Gary said today that this is probably the last one. This is just a one-off, him partnering, supporting TikTok, getting into the space. But it's Gary V Friends news, and so I'm bringing it to you. With that, I have a couple other not surprises, just a couple other things that you might be interested in. Sidebar, I'm like super hyped for NFT NYC. There's a lot of people that are coming to the city right now. I'm very grateful I was able to get a ticket. And for those who are feeling FOMO in different parts of the country or in different countries altogether, I will be doing my best to go live at different moments and live tweet and share what I learn on the page and otherwise. If you are in New York City on Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. at the Latitude Bar and Grill, we will be doing a VFriends community meetup right after the Janky Heist Eternal Royals event. So please come by. It's $25 at the door. That money is going to pay for the venue and food. It's not going to the organizers, and it'll be really fun. So this week, Gary asked us to like and comment one of his father's Instagram posts. So I want to bring attention to this because it's just fun. Apparently, they have a little bet about how many comments Gary V can drive to this post. So Sasha Vayner on Instagram, you'll find a picture of the two of them at dinner. When I looked this up, it had 1,993 comments, and I feel like that is far too little for the amount of influence that Gary has. So if you feel like doing something fun and free that supports Gary, go and comment on this post. And don't forget that Gary's very sneaky. Like, he's very much a snake in the grass, and he watches. He's often asked us to comment or share at a certain thing and said that it will matter for Go giveaways. And although we know a lot of Go giveaways have been random, it doesn't mean that he isn't flagging them for the future. No word yet on if there's going to be another VFriends 1 giveaway, but he did mention a VFriends 2 giveaway on Twitter for the first time, and that is going to be happening in the VFriends Discord. So if you're trying to get a free NFT, that's the place to be. Yay! Okay, I think that's the news. My notes look scratched out and all done, so I'm going to call it. Oh, here's one more thing I want to bring your attention to. This is not VFriends related, but I found this NFT called the NFT Tax Guide. You can find it at nfttaxguide.com. One of the reputable tax lawyers in the space, the NFT attorney on Twitter, has gathered a group of tax professionals who are in the NFT space, and they've mutually created this NFT that gets you access to a tax guide that was written by all these professionals together, like a 30-page tax guide. Then you also get a free subscription to Zen Ledger, which is, by all accounts, essentially like a not a QuickBooks, like a TurboTax for NFTs. They have a algorithmic program where you put in your wallet address and it does the math for you. So I know that a lot of people are going to be wanting help with this. Not everyone has so many transactions that they need to hire a tax professional. This will be a good solution for many of you. And the cost of the NFT is basically the same as if you were to buy the Zen Ledger program outright. And the artwork is by Satoshi, which, if you know, is a lauded artist in the space. It's like a little doodle, and there's a guy with a hat, a stick figure guy with a hat. And it says, "Are you winning, son?" And the son is at his computer and says, "Are cartoon JPEG gains taxable income, Dad?" So really lighthearted token. There's no need to rush on this. Wait for gas to go down. The price is 0.08 ETH, and it's an open mint, so it cannot sell out, and they are going to sell it right up until tax day. So minting is open until April 18th, 2022. I don't usually shill NFTs on the podcast. I try not to shill at all, but I saw this and I imagine a lot of people had not seen it yet. Do your own research. This is not financial advice. I don't anticipate that this is a investment at all. This is a service NFT. This is a utility NFT. If you want a detailed guide that is advisable by tax professionals of what to do in different circumstances, my understanding is they've been very detailed about transactions and airdrops and all the rest. And Zen Ledger actually gives you an ability to speak with someone as you're going through it. It just seems like a no-brainer for 0.08, especially if you've done more than 5 or 6 transactions with NFTs. So I wanted to bring that to everybody. I hope that that is helpful. With that note, let's get to our outro. This was VeeFriends News. Podcast is almost done. All right, we're coming to the end. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. As always, my name is Jeremy, and I do have something personal to share with you. You know, I am making the shift into doing this content for you full time, but I cannot do that without financial compensation. So I've heard your requests, and I have set up a donations page. The link is currently in my bio on Twitter and Instagram. It's on my Yacht. It's basically a tip jar, but I have built out a membership tier there, and I've tried to create benefits that I think are great. I want people to know that I am not going to be putting this content behind a paywall. By supporting me, you get added benefit. You do not get exclusive benefit. So I'm just going to tell you what it is really briefly. This is me committing to the following each week to make sure that you know what's going on in VeeFriends. That is 3 podcasts, an interview with someone in the community, a character deep dive of a VeeFriend token, and an education-based Twitch stream, by which I mean topic-based. I'll probably just take, there's so many 101 things that I mention and I have learned over the last several months that I'd like to make more high-quality, focused Twitch and YouTube content. So once a week, I'll do a stream in that regard, and then ongoing breaking news on IG and Twitter. So that's what you're supporting. And if you decide to do a one-time donation, I absolutely love you. You can also do a membership, and I've set them up in the order of rarity for the different VeeFriends tokens. So there's core for $5, rare for $10, very rare, epic, spectacular, and so on. I won't go through every single benefit for you now, but it sort of builds from Discord access to a private category in my server, up to social media shout outs, percentages off merch. And then if you donate $25 or more each month, then I will work with you to do exclusive requests. The way I have it set up now is that they'll be limited to 1 a week, and they will be mutually chosen by the people in that category. So I can't promise for $25 a month that everybody gets their own request, but that group, whether you want to request I do a video on a specific topic, or you want me to keep tabs on a specific project that you don't have time for, I'm open to all of those things. I expect this to live and breathe and change as we all do. But I spent a lot of time trying to build this in a way that I think will sustain and provide added value. And this platform, it's on Ko-Fi. It's ko-fi.com/Jeremy Knows. It also has a built-in media, like a content thing. So I'll be posting content here as well. And I just wanted to let you know about it. I'll be doing more direct pushes about it afterward. But if I have provided you any value in the last 5 months and you'd like to see me continue to make these podcasts and do what I'm doing, then I would absolutely, I would be very grateful for a $5, $10, $15 contribution. And we'll see how it goes. So thank you so much again for listening. And as always, I am Jeremy, the Heart Trooper number 7. This was the daily download on the Jeremy Knows podcast, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great one. What's up, Storm? You just missed the podcast and the daily news. I hope everybody in the room is doing well. Thank you for watching. I don't think I missed any questions. If you have a question, drop it now. Perfect timing because my phone is about to die. Yeah, I did it. We did it. Yay. Yeah, I'll be honest. It's very vulnerable to be asking for money for this, but I'm enjoying it so much, and people have been asking for it, so we did it. I'm gonna post this podcast. This one got pretty long. For those who listen to the podcast, I mean, I'm curious if you're here in the live right now. Do you listen to the podcast when you're not here live? And is it too long? Should I be focused on shorter podcasts that are just one topic, or do you like the daily topics? I'd love to hear for both Instagram and Twitch. Yeah, and let me drop this link in Twitch just in case anybody wants to do it. Again, like the whole donation page is not a requirement. It's just available to people. Everything what I said, 3 podcasts, an interview, an educational video, and a character breakdown. It's all, and the breaking news. Those 5 things, that is what you're supporting. And that is not going behind a paywall. I will over time look into doing like exclusive, like first look type stuff for the people who support, but I don't feel comfortable putting it behind a paywall. So, so just FYI. And yeah, I'm curious. Moni likes the daily. Yeah, I mean, Jesus is right. Jesus comes in, he says both. Thank you, Jesus. You're right. I should do both. I could release a long form podcast and then just release. Oh, my phone died. Okay, it's just you, Twitch. Drofig, appreciate you being here. I know you live on Twitch. You just watch Netflix and live streams. It's kind of awesome. Okay, let me post this podcast and get on with it. What is this episode? Oh, I forgot to shout out Let's Be Friends. That's okay. I'll do it tomorrow. Episode 102. Good stuff. All right. I want to thank everybody again, Drofig and Jerry and Window Tinter and Chaotic and everybody who's in the room or passed through it. Super grateful to everybody. I hope that your day is, I hope that your evening, your morning, wherever you are listening to this is easy. I hope you feel good. And I am sending you a lot of strength if you're feeling bad. So I'll see you in the future. See you tomorrow. And thanks for watching. Talk soon.